Hi, my name is Edwin Dande, CEO at Cytonn Investments. Cytonn Investments is what I would call a captive investment manager on one side and a real estate developer on one side. So we collect money from investors and majority of it we put into real estate.
So in light with what's happening with Cytonn and Superior Homes, can you give an overview of the issue?
So as I said, Cytonn is involved in the business of raising money on one side and deploying it into high returning opportunities, mainly real estate. So let me first explain the investment side. On the investment side, we source money from two main sources, what we call regulated sources, also called the public markets, and also the unregulated sources, what one would call the private markets. The most popular product on the regulated side is the Cytonn Money Market Fund, which is issued under the Cytonn Asset Management Limited subsidiary. On the private side, the most known product is the Cytonn High Yield Solutions, which ran into trouble a couple of years ago, and it's being restructured under the official receiver. On the investment side, we do invest in bank deposits, we do invest in government securities, but primarily into real estate. Each of these real estate investments is done in a separate vehicle or a separate entity, so that you isolate the issues and opportunities for each of those vehicles. What you've been seeing in the news is of these 10 real estate investments, there's an investment and an entity called Cytonn Investment Partners 15, which is invested in another real estate developer called Superior Homes. I actually sit on the board of Superior Homes Kenya. Cytonn has done quite a bit of work in terms of developing Superior Homes. If you look at who is the CEO there, that's somebody who was a founder of Cytonn and very happily left Cytonn and joined Superior Homes. If you look at the management of Superior Homes, quite a number of people there who are Cytonnaires. We identified something that had potential almost 10 years ago. I think it's probably 8 years ago. And we put in money, we've put in management, and we've put in board time to develop that company. The last valuation I looked at was done right after COVID. That was 2021. It valued the company at around 9 point something billion. I don't have the exact numbers, which then put our 12.5% stake at about $1 billion shillings. We've continued to work together until recently, when we realized that our 12.5 stake, worth around 1 billion, was being discussed to be disposed at around 250 million. Because remember, I told you on the investment side, there's a portfolio that has an issue called CHYS, and CHYS is invested in some of these real estate assets. So we have to sell some of these assets to be able to pay back the CHYS investors. So what brought about the dispute was the sale of this investment in Superior Homes Kenya. When we were not happy with that particular transaction, we went to court and the process was stayed by the court, and we thought that was it until recently, when we realized there were still discussions on this property. And that's when we said, okay, we will make members of the public know that that particular stake is not for sale. And if it's going to be for sale, then certainly not at a quarter of the price that we estimate that it should be worth. So that's what has been going on at Superior Homes. We are working very hard to try and resolve the issue, whether it will be resolved in courts, whether it will be resolved in the boardrooms. It's for the parties involved to decide. But in the meantime, it's very important that there's public disclosure that any asset or any real estate that's being sold by Superior Homes, certainly they can sell if that's the choice of management and the board, but people ought to know that there are serious litigation issues around that particular stake in Superior Homes.
So what do you see as the way out, and what should the clients be concerned about?
When you talk about clients, I'm not sure which clients we are talking about, because we have our own clients as Cytonn. They're also clients of Superior Homes. And even for me, I talk wearing on one side the Cytonn investments hat, and I also have to wear the Superior Homes hat because I'm a Superior Homes director. The assets are real estate assets. They are going nowhere. Our only concern is the continued sales of real estate when there is dispute around that real estate. That's why we went to court and asked, can we preserve this real estate when we are still debating the dispute around the real estate? So I don't know where the litigation ends. That's up to the courts. All we are saying is that in the interim, as we litigate about these particular assets, whether they can or cannot be sold, we would want at least the assets to be preserved. And even as we pursue those preservation orders, at a minimum, let the public know that there's dispute around this real estate in terms of the price, whether it's worth 250 million, as Superior Homes and the official receiver has been discussing, or whether it's worth $1 billion, as captured in the valuation of the board of Superior Homes itself. So that particular dispute will take time to be resolved.
So considering that the whole issue ties to the whole restructuring process, how does it tie to the restructuring process at Cytonn?
It ties to the restructuring process because on one side you have investors who've put in money, and on the other side you have the real estate where that money has been invested. The value of this real estate is very critical to the amount of money that the investors will get. That's why we are saying if we are going to dispose of an asset, such as our stake in Superior Homes Kenya, then it has to be disposed at a value that then makes sense. So in terms of why the investors ought to be concerned about it, is the value of real estate. There's also another issue that we need to resolve. Given that we have a stake in Superior Homes, we recently realized that the amount of debt had risen from around 125 million in January 1st, 2024 to around 1.1 billion by the end of June 2024. So in 6 months, we've had debt increase almost tenfold. We need to understand why the debt was taken, where the money is, so that there's detailed accounting. Debt affects the value of our stake, so we need to understand that debt pretty well. So the first issue is valuation, the second issue is debt, and the third issue is apparently this debt was taken by pledging some of the assets that were there during the preservation date, or when the court issued the preservation orders. Some of these assets were then pledged to Gulf Bank. There's a question around the authorization around that, so that we figure out, was that process duly authorized? So we really have three issues: valuation of the stake, the 10 times increase in debt, and also the pledging of these assets to Gulf Bank. So that will take time to sort through. So as we debate value of the real estate, as we debate the amount of debt taken under Superior Homes, and as we debate whether that debt was duly authorized, we think it's important for buyers of this real estate to know that all these disputes exist. It would be misleading for people to continue to buy this real estate without clear knowledge that there's actually dispute around the real estate.
That's it. You can just give a concluding statement.
In conclusion, I would say we are deeply committed to our clients. We are deeply committed to this market. When you look at some of the things that we brought into the market, I think we were the first brand to bring the digitized money market, immediate withdrawal 24/7. If you look at the real estate we bring into the market, comprehensive lifestyle real estate, where things like backup power are assured. You go to a place like the Alma, nothing like dry taps, security, open spaces for people to hang out and kids to play. So we are committed to helping solve the urban housing problem, not just by putting 4 walls and a roof, but also putting aspirational neighborhoods like the Alma. Anything worth doing, I always remind people, will run into problems. Our real estate portfolio ran into problems, but we are still here working hard every single day to restructure this portfolio, get the best price we can get for our clients, and sell that asset and pay back our investors. That's why we take it almost personally when we find that an asset is being traded at a quarter of the price, and that's the core of the dispute that you hear about. But with time, I'm certain that we'll resolve the issue. Thank you.